Combat Zone Wrestling is an American independent wrestling promotion. In 1999, John Zandig and 5 of his students, Ric Blade, T.C.K., Lobo, Gage, and Justice Payne began to run professional wrestling shows in New Jersey and Delaware, showcasing a brand of hardcore wrestling dubbed as ultraviolence. Ladders, tables, steel folding chairs, thumbtacks, barbed wire, weed whackers, light tubes, and fire are all common elements of ultraviolent wrestling in CZW. The company filled a niche for hardcore wrestling fans that had been left open by the folding of Extreme Championship Wrestling. CZW established themselves as the leading American hardcore wrestling promotion at the ECW Arena with their Cage of Death 3 show in 2001, the year ECW folded. Their homegrown roster helped establish what became a top independent promotion in later years. Although they are most commonly known for their ultraviolent style, their shows feature almost every other style of wrestling as well. Just about any card will feature high-flying, comedy, strong style, chain wrestling, and technical wrestling. Their annual Tournament of Death show emphasizes the ultraviolent style of CZW, while their annual Best of the Best emphasizes on the technical and aerial style. CZW was broadcast on the Fight Network to viewers in the UK and Ireland as part of the Bloodbath program until the Fight Network closed in 2008. CZW now runs shows on a monthly basis at the Flyers Skate Zone in Voorhees, New Jersey. They will occasionally run shows outside New Jersey. In 2015, CZW signed a deal for pay-per-views on demand. History Pro Wrestling Academy Combat Zone Wrestling's Pro Wrestling Academy was founded in New Jersey by John Zandig in 1998. After training the classes alone, Zandig enlisted the help of John Dahmer, who helped train with Zandig for the next 3 classes. The first student trained was Lobo, who worked with Zandig before their wrestling careers. Gage and Justice Payne were the next 2 students to be trained by Zandig. The 4th student and 5th student trained was T.C.K. and Ric Blade. The academy relocated to the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania and briefly merged with the Chickara Wrestle Factory. Shortly after the second class, the academy separated from the Chickara Wrestle Factory and moved its operation back to New Jersey, then back to Philadelphia, and now to Blackwood, New Jersey. Currently, Drew Gulak is the head trainer of the academy, with members of the CZW locker room joining them every session. Japan Connection Early 2000s saw CZW establish a connection with the deathmatch wrestling-orientated company Big Japan Pro Wrestling, credited to have popularized the deathmatch wrestling style that CZW continued to emphasize in the United States, dubbed as ultraviolence. Both promotions traded talent throughout 2000 and 2001. The company versus company feud was primarily based in Japan. The CZW Warriors and BJW included Wife Beater, Gage, Trent Acid, Justice Payne, Johnny Kashmere, Nate Hatred, Ruckus, Nick Burke, as well as John Zandig as the leader. Notable incidents included Zandig turning face in Japan and John Kasai joining Zandig as part of his Big Delt stable in CZW. Kasai competed in a match which was later dubbed Unbelievable, in reference to the show's name. During the match, Kasai was crucifix-bombed over the top rope into light tubes, barbed wire and tables, causing Kasai's elbow bone to pop out of his skin. He continued the match after having his elbow taped up. During 2001 in Japan, the Wife Beater and Ryuji Yamakawa faced off in a match which ended Yamakawa's career after the Wife Beater chokensteined him off the ring apron through a table set up on the outside. In a shoot interview, Wife Beater stated communication difficulties between the two was a major factor which led to the incident. Wife Beater pleaded that they should not execute the maneuver, though the move went on and saw Yamakawa's head slam against the concrete. Both wrestlers have stated that it was half of each other's fault when Yamakawa did not take the move as it should be performed. Back first, though some even blame the Japanese tables, which are smaller, more sturdy and harder to break. The table in this incident did not break and simply slipped from underneath of Yamakawa, thus only connecting with his legs, causing his head to take the impact on the concrete. the reason for the collapse of the interpromotional deal is uncertain. After a controversial exploding panes of glass match between Zandig and Mitsuhiro Matsunaga in Japan, 2001, Zandig left BJW with a BJW Death Match title belt. Many wrestlers of both promotions at the time were confused about the collapse between the two. Sean's Arena, PPV, and Fake UTV. In February 2000, the company would relocate from their home arena in Mantua, New Jersey to Champs Soccer Arena, in Sewell, New Jersey. They would remain there for 2 years until the state of New Jersey banned the use of ultraviolent weapons in wrestling. To counteract the ban, CZW branched out from New Jersey to Delaware, where they would host their more ultraviolent shows throughout the rest of the company's existence. A pay-per-view taping for the June 25, 2000 show was put in place. The event was scheduled to be main-evented by Terry Funk and Atsushi Onita in an explosion match. The deal fell through when Onita cancelled. Although the show took place and was main-evented by Nick Gage and the Wife Beater in the first-ever 200 Light Oops match in the United States, the show was later called They Said It Couldn't Be Done. On June 8, 2001, the company secured a TV taping for the show Take One. During the main event as part of a dual 20-feet balcony dive, Ric Blade suffered a broken leg after landing on Justice Payne, who laid upon 2 stacked tables. Nick Gage was to attempt a second dive with Lobo a few meters away. Unfortunately, Nick Gage slipped and fell from atop the balcony to the ground. Fortunately, Gage was able to continue, unlike Blade who had to be stretchered out. The spot was cut from TV. The TV tapings aired on WGTW 48, as a part of CZW's very own show Fake UTV, which was available in many northeastern states in the U.S. After many business changes by the WGTW 48 production team over the years, including a time slot change from Saturdays at 9:00 p.m. to a weeknight at midnight slot, to compete with other promotions, this idea was a failure and Fake UTV continued to strive. CZW continued to endure every business decision that WGTW 48 formulated and executed until the channel decided not to air the June 18, 2004 episode due to its content, through negative effects on the fans, and after much consideration, CZW decided to withdraw the show indefinitely. Viking Hall debut and Indie Wars due to their upcoming annual Cage of Death 3 show at the end of 2001, the company needed a bigger venue and made their debut in the ECW Arena, formerly Viking Hall and currently the Arena. The venue was the first sellout in the building since the era of ECW, and hundreds were turned away from the biggest show in the promotion's history. Several promotions competed for the Northeast fan base that had been left behind by ECW in what became known as the Indie Wars. CZW, XPW, and 3PW were the key promotions which revolved around Viking Hall. XPW were given the lease to the arena in very late 2002 after Rob Black offered around $60,000. On December 12, 2002, as part of a triple-header of wrestling in Philadelphia, Ring of Honor ran shows in conjunction with CZW and 3PW in what was to be the latter two promotions' last events in the arena. During CZW's event, Zandig publicly stated that they had offered $32,000 to stay in the arena, but also stating that with the $10,000 a month XPW would need to pay for the building, the lease would not last long. Accompanied by incidents relating to Extreme Associates, XPW later folded in 2003. CZW made their return to the arena on March 8, 2003. Italy and ECW Tribute shortly after their return to the arena, on May 10, 2003, the company promoted a show entitled Then and Now, A Decade of Defiance. The event was a tribute to the last 10 years of wrestling in the new Alhambra Arena, or at the time, Viking Hall. On October 25, 2003, the promotion made their debut in Italy with an attendance record of 2,000 people filled the Palace Sport Arena in Pistoia. Later on March 27, 2004, the company returned for another event which featured Sabu in a tables match, this time only drawing 500 people in Parma. IWA Miss Invasion On June 14, 2003, Mid-South-based promotion Independent Wrestling Association Mid-South invaded CZW as part of a kayfabe angle which led to an inter-promotional feud throughout most of 2003. During the night of the initial invasion, the crowd was so riled up that they began hurling chairs into the ring at Ian Rotten, Corporal Robinson, and J.C. Bailey of IWA Miss. The Delaware Wrestling Commissioner, who was in the ring at the time, was struck in the side of the head. The feud was based in both promotions and a major part led into CZW's Tournament of Death 2. 5 IWA Miss wrestlers and 3 CZW wrestlers entered into the 8-man single elimination tournament. The semi-final saw 2 CZW wrestlers John Zandig and Nick Mondo compete in a 2 out of 3 lighter log cabin match, a match which is said to have ended Nick Mondo's career. Towards the end of the match Zandig mother effing bombed Nick Mondo off a 40-feet rooftop as both Zandig and Mondo crashed into tables and a lighter log cabin contraption. He continued the tournament with 3 broken bones in his wrist and won the tournament after defeating Ian Rotten in a 200 light-obes final. Zandig hanging incident during John Zandig's feud with heel stable The High Five, Zandig was suspended in the middle of the ring by meat hooks from the roof of the arena. The incident led into the setup of the main event at Cage of Death 2003, where a cage was suspended from the roof. The event was called Cage of Death 5, Suspended. The company remained successful that year and had a sold-out crowd for their annual Cage of Death show. Later years during 2005, CZW established a connection with local promotion Chikara, which established into a joint training school known as the Wrestle Factory in the new Alhambra Arena, with head trainers Chris Hero and Mike Quackenbush. During 2007, CZW departed from the training school to form their own, much like their older school. The company remained strong in the forthcoming years with new booker, Mike Burns, who was responsible for one of the best runs in the promotion's history. Pan Coast Productions, a company which for many years was responsible for a lot of CZW's logos and Titantron work, among other things, briefly departed from the company in late 2005 after an altercation between Pan Coast Productions owner Mike Pancoast and John Zandig. At their Cage of Death 7 show at the end of 2005, former CZW Ironman champion Chris Hero cut a promo challenging American Dragon Bryan Danielson to a match at the next show. Backstage during this promo, CZW owner John Zandig was furious. Zandig did not know of the deal that CZW booker, Mike Burns arranged with Ring of Honor booker, Gabby Sapolsky. The news of CZW working with Rome made Zandig go into a frenzy. Zandig was approached backstage by Mike Pancoast. After a very vocal argument Zandig pushed him down a flight of stairs. One worker quoted Zandig telling Pancoast, "Make sure to grab the rail on your way down." DJ Hyde ownership wrestler DJ purchased CZW from Zandig in 2009. The first show booked by DJ Hyde was Tangled Web 2. Since then, CZW has held its first shows in Germany, Massachusetts, Ohio, South Carolina and Indiana. They also returned to Japan and has brought back previous stars like Homicide, the Briscoe Brothers, Derek Frazier, and B.J. Whitmer. In 2014 CZW toured England as part of a cross-promotion with Tidal Championship Wrestling. After 13 years in business together, in 2013 Combat Zone Wrestling and Smart Mark Home Video ceased partnership after a falling out. As of February 2013 all Combat Zone Wrestling events are filmed, edited, and distributed by RF Video. Returned to New Jersey in January 2012. CZW and ECW's world-famous arena was sold and was later temporarily closed, not reopening until December 2013. The closing of the venue forced CZW to look for a new home, now running monthly events at Flyers Skate Zone in Voorhees, New Jersey. Maven Bentley Association. The Maven Bentley Association is Combat Zone Wrestling's sister company, run by Maven Bentley. The MBA is the sole owner of the Maven Bentley character. It provides promoter services to independent wrestling companies as well as the character Maven Bentley for acting and other entertainment endeavors. Half of the roster are mainly from CZW. The NBA LLC has provided services for some of the top names in the wrestling business such as Ring of Honor, World Extreme Wrestling, World Sumo League, and Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. In 2007, CZW had a short-lived feud with the NBA, who had been running amok in CZW for the past few months with the power-mad Bentley abusing his authority. Bentley hired a few of CZW's own wrestlers to help him take over the company. Those wrestlers included diehard Dustin Lee, Scotty Vortex, Brain Damage, and DJ Hyde. Bentley himself got involved as he was scheduled to face Lobo in a lumberjack strap match, which he lost at Cage of Death 9. The NBA returned to the CZW Arena for its Economic Crisis event on January 31, 2009. Championships Popular media The Wrestler is a 2008 movie based around a fictional, once prominent pro wrestler in the heights of the 1980s, now left to drive them from town to town for cheap pickup bouts and the rigorous dangers of leagues like CZW. On December 8, 2007, Scott Franklin, Darren Aronofsky and Mickey Rourke visited CZW's Cage of Death 9 in December and committed to the venue. On February 9, 2008, as a part of CZW's regular February event, filming took place in the new Alhambra Arena for the upcoming movie, which included many CZW alumni, along with the Necro Butcher, who wrestles Rourke's character Randy the Ram Robinson in an ultraviolent hardcore match. Zandig's hope was that the wrestler, along with CZW's first worldwide distribution deal for its DVDs, would take the ultra-violent sport to the next level. G4 Underground CZW was featured on G4's TV show G4 Underground. It shows Danny Havoc getting ready for his match at Total Havoc against Thumbtack Jack, in which he did win. Time Warp CZW's appearance on the Discovery Channel's Time Warp program debuted April 22, 2009 as part of a special 60-minute episode. The program included footage of Combat Zone's top stars Zandig and Nick Gage at the Discovery Channel studios in Boston. Annual events Cage of Death Combat Zone Wrestling's biggest show is the year-end Cage of Death. It always features the Cage of Death match, a steel cage with various weapons, objects, and plenty of wrestling violence. Electrified cage walls, cacti, ladders, tables, steel folding chairs, barbed wire, light tubes, fire, glass, thumbtacks, and baseball bats have been used in it. Matches always include high-risk wrestling bumps. The Cage of Death also has different formats and stipulations: singles, tag team, or gauntlet. Tournament of Death Combat Zone Wrestling's yearly death match tournament features the use of fire, weed whackers, light tubes, and other weapons. Previous winners include Wife Beater, Nick Mondo, Necro Butcher, Nick Gage, Drake Younger, Brain Damage, Danny Havoc, and John Zandig, who gave the trophy over to Thumbtack Jack, who lost the Tournament of Death trophy at Best of the Best to DJ Hyde. Due to the incidents at TOD8, another event named TOD 8.5 Rewind took place in the same year, which was won by Thumbtack Jack. Scotty Vortex won TOD 9. Mazeda won TODX 11 in TOD, Europe. Best of the Best Combat Zone Wrestling's yearly tournament that differs from other CZW events in how it emphasizes athleticism more than the use of weapons. The Best of the Best tournament is, by design, a junior heavyweight tournament. In 2005, however, the tournament was formatted as an open-weight tournament. The next year, it returned to its original format. Previous winners include Winger, Trent Acid, B-Boy, Sanjay Dutt, Mike Quackenbush, Ruckus, Joker, Sabian, Ego Tastico Fantastico, Adam Cole and Sami Callihan in that order. Deja Vu The first show featured a bloody barbed wire match between Zandig and Lobo. Since then the Deja Vu card has been held on an almost yearly basis. $3 Car $H Memorial Show As of 2005, Combat Zone Wrestling annually run a memorial tribute event to Christopher Creed. H. Borman titled Down with the Sickness after Creed. H's theme song from the band Disturbed. The show originally started as a double-header afternoon show, with another CZW event taking place later in the evening. Many former CZW trainees have made appearances on past events, including longtime friend GQ, who has wrestled on all of the events. Tangled Web Every year since 2008, CZW has held this event in which a barbed wire spiderweb is used. Roster. Championships. Current champions defunct championships See also. Combat Zone Wrestling Roster, Big Japan Pro Wrestling, West Extreme Wrestling, IWA Miss, Independent Wrestling. References. External links, official website, results from past CZW shows, profile on WrestlingData.com.